I'm Debbie.
And I'm Megan.
We are real life scientists, and we want to share some sciencey stories that are crazy, sometimes extraterrestrial, but with an Ad Libs twist.
You are listening to Lab Libs.
I'm a bio-pirate, actually. A mouse on a frog? You can't put a mouse on a frog, can you? Square dancing! Square dancing! Woo! Yeehaw!
Okay, I have a wild one for you today, but...
An extraterrestrial wild.
Yes, very wild. But real quick, let's go through what we're going to do here. I have some information about a crazy story written down. I gave you some ad lib links ahead of time.
Yes, you did.
You had to fill them in without any context.
No context at all. Just a list of categories.
We're going to see how well you did filling in those blanks.
Okay.
All right. And speaking of out of context,
I know what we must do.
We must have a out of context quote or multiple out of context quotes.
You love multiple.
I do love multiple
quotes. It's the first step of our long journey.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So the first one is by a guy, Jose Luis Jordan Pena.
All right.
And it goes, Estoy aprendiendo
Oh, God.
de haber creado un experimento inmoral que sa veto
Please let me say it.
contra mí.
Please let me say it.
Okay, I'm going to read it in English.
Oh, God.
Okay, which means, not at all what I said. I am sorry for having created an immoral experiment that has turned against me.
Oh, like Frankenstein.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The next one is by an Ummite. And it is Oa dudu a u ka'awa ama ama.
Okay.
Which in that language means, we have made this trip in order to study your culture. We come from Ummo and do not intend to do any harm, rest assured.
Huh. Mm-hmm. What language is that again?
It's Ummo language.
Is that a human language?
No.
Okay.
One other thing from an Ummite, not in their language, in mine. We have shown you our culture and technology in a purely descriptive form so that you cannot convert to it or adopt it blindly. We have done this because we are saddened to learn that you use your science primarily for war and destruction. You are like children playing with terrible and dangerous toys that will destroy you. We cannot do anything about it. A cosmic law says that each world must go its own way, whether it survives or perishes.
And this was from aliens?
An Ummite, yeah.
An Ummite.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have heard of this.
Nope.
Okay.
Not a chance.
I feel like you've given me so much and yet nothing at all.
And yet you're just as lost as
I have no idea what is happening right now.
Yeah, it's wild.
Okay.
Okay. The very first sentence has a Lab Libs in it, and the category I gave you was a year in the early 1900s.
So you got so very upset with me that out of principle that I did not all the time answer
1912.
1912.
That's right.
I knew, though, in my heart and my mind, logically, that it was a trap.
It was a trap.
And that it was certainly not going to be 1912. So I just want to let the record show that I put 1912 in solidarity with your request that I should always put 1912, knowing I would be, in fact, wrong.
Okay, well, it happened in 1934.
Okay.
Okay, so The story begins in the Barents Sea in 1934. A Norwegian fishing boat sent out a routine high-frequency radio signal. Just some maritime chatter, not anything too crazy. I don't know what they were doing, just playing with buttons, it sounds like to me. But
Okay. So they sent out a signal from this boat.
yeah, Norwegian fishing boat.
Okay.
Okay. So, according to the documents that would surface decades later, that signal didn't just bounce around Earth's atmosphere. It traveled across space for nearly 15 years and eventually reached a distant star system in the constellation Virgo. There, on a planet called Ummo, an advanced civilization picked it up, and that moment changed everything.
That sounds fake.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, let's keep reading. Who knows? So there'll be a bunch of letters later that are just going to describe a lot about the planet Ummo.
Okay.
But the next Lab Libs is kind of in here. And I gave you 3 traits a good scientist should have.
Yeah. I thought a lot about that one.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
You said curiosity, skepticism, and methodical.
Yeah.
Okay. This goes. The Ummites were described as a deeply scientific people. They were curious, methodical,
Whoa.
and analytical.
That's crazy.
That was pretty good. You did pretty good.
That's almost exactly.
It's almost exactly.
I thought a long time before it got to methodical as well.
That was, you
really spot
really
on.
nailed
Wow,
it.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. Okay. So when the Ummites realized the signal came from a planet inhabited by intelligent life, they launched a massive research initiative, right?
On this other planet? What are you reading from right now?
This is my story.
No, but this is history recorded somewhere?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
And this boat, I do actually want to clarify, this is a real boat that sent out a real signal? And
Sure. No, I don't know.
where's that recorded, this boat?
The Ummites said that it was...
I see. The Ummites said there was a boat that sent the signal that flashed
Yes.
around for
I don't know
15
how
years.
they knew it was Norwegian,
Okay.
but
I understand.
they did know.
My question,
Yep.
I feel, has been answered. Thank
Okay,
you.
cool.
Okay. Debbie is so suspiciously smiling and moments away from bursting into giggles. I just want the listeners to know that.
It's so crazy.
Okay. I'm on board. I'm here.
Okay, you're here.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Your next Lab Libs is in this one, and I put a country in Europe. You said Switzerland. Mm-hmm. Nice guess. It's not correct, but... So the Ummites' journey, according to the later letters, ended on March 28th, 1955, when they landed quietly near Aix-en-Provence in southern France.
Okay.
That was your European country then.
Okay. Yeah, I think
So the
it sounds
Ummites
French, the
have
city.
landed in France
Okay.
now in 1955.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Secretly, quietly.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, come on. So these later letters that I'm going to keep referring to
Letters.
would describe these beings oddly specifically. The Ummites are tall. They're around 6 feet to 6.5 feet,
Okay.
with pale, almost translucent skin and Nordic features.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So they look like humans, but they're aliens, is what I'm hearing from that. They look like very pale, tall humans.
A part of the face.
The mouth.
They're tall. They're around 6 to 6.5 feet,
Okay.
with pale, almost translucent skin and Nordic features.
That just sounds kind of like a human.
Kinda
but
normal.
Extra pale and tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Twilight-ish.
Okay.
Okay.
Twilight-ish.
And the next one I gave you was a part of the face. So I'm going to read the sentence. You said mouth.
Yes.
Their blank are larger than ours, adapted to the dimmer light of their home star. But sunglasses apparently solved that problem.
So I guess it's eyes.
It's going to be eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
They look human enough to blend in, and that's what they said they did.
I see.
They supposedly lived among us and observed everything from like our social structures to our biology, but they were always following this strict rule of non-interference.
That's seems logical.
That's big of them,
Right.
right?
Yeah, like that's the prime directive in Star Trek. That you shouldn't like alter
That's right.
their track of history.
Exactly. It's just like that.
Okay.
Okay. So for about a decade, if you believe the narrative, they kept completely silent. And then in the mid 1960s,
Something changed.
they started reaching out.
Oh. All of a sudden.
And this is where it all kind of changes. Your next Lab Libs I gave you was a method of communication. You said email.
I said email.
Okay, I'm going to read you this and you tell me if you think you got it right. Okay. They didn't show up in person. They didn't broadcast a message. They didn't carve symbols into a cornfield. What did they do? They...
Sent emails in the 1960s.
Yep. No. They sent letters.
They sent letters. Okay.
Typewritten letters
Oh. Close. I was close then.
through the regular postal service.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Like an old email.
An old email, exactly.
Right.
Just how you
Slow
would think.
email.
I almost
Typed up.
I almost gave you the category a method of communication with an extraterrestrial, but that was getting a little too specific.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's some words in here that I purposely just don't look them up because it's just on principle. I just have to read them the way that I think that they sound. So there's one coming up that I'm sure is going to make a lot of people real angry at me. The first known recipient was a Spanish ufologist.
Ufologist?
Ufologist? Ufologist?
Ufologist.
Is that what it is? Ufologist?
That's what I'm going to go
I
with.
don't know either. Okay, good.
I'm going to go with ufologist.
But
Or how about
the study of UFOs.
ufologist? Ufologist.
His name was Fernando Sesma, and he ran a little group in Madrid, Spain. They met in a basement of a cafe to talk about extraterrestrials and mysticism. Your next Lab Lib was what you would call your secret UFO society.
Yes.
And you said
UFOs are us.
Well, what they went with is Society of Friends of Space Visitors.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
I like that also. That's a good one. Space visitor.
So Cessna had already been getting like strange phone calls from anonymous voices claiming to be from other worlds.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So when the first Ummo letter arrived in 1966, he was ready for it.
I mean, that's your real career goals as a ufologist.
Of course. Obviously.
That's what you're trained for. This
what
is
you're
what
doing.
all the science
This is what you
has led to.
Okay, and I kind of already gave you the answer to this one, but it's your next Lab Lib is another country in Europe. You said England. It's not England. So
I did all the right answers for you this time, Demi.
you did, and I appreciate
They were all
it.
traps.
Okay, so it goes, that letter was just the beginning. Over the next 2 decades, thousands of pages
no.
arrived in mailboxes across blank France and then eventually other parts of Europe. And it's Spain.
Wow.
I already told you
Yeah.
this the Madrid guy here. So
This is elaborate.
it is.
Whoever did this.
Yeah. The Ummites, obviously.
Of course, the Ummites.
Yeah. These letters were dense. I mean, dense. They
Wow.
were like technical, philosophical, scientific, and really detailed. And there was like sketches and everything.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of this.
I know.
I don't know what this is still that you're describing.
I know. I knew you wouldn't know it. Okay. So they described the Ummites' biology. Their pale skin, like I said, they had enhanced strength. They had the ability to adapt to different atmospheres, and that was thanks to a combination of evolution and like technological augmentation.
Okay.
And they described their society, which they portrayed as a kind of like utopian collective.
Of course I did. Of course it's a utopian collective. It's always a fucking utopian collective.
With no private property,
Yeah.
governed by a council called Ummo.
I love that. I love your pronunciation.
They described their religion. It was centered on a cosmic entity called Boa.
When you first started doing this, I was like, oh no, what is Debbie doing? Like,
Debbie,
she is
okay?
being offensive to some language that I don't know. And
I
then
am.
I was like, is this a human language? And you said, nope. And I said, oh, okay. Like, guys, we're probably fine then.
We're in the clear. No offense to the Ummite listeners out there.
Yeah, out in the multiverse. Hey, maybe we're on multidimensional cable, you know? Like, who knows? They got multidimensional radio, maybe, and we're just, like, blasting onto the airwaves somehow
Maybe.
out there in space. And there's weird alien races listening to us.
Yep. Right through these microphones here.
Right through these microphones. Live on air.
They even described like a bad period in their history. It was a time when they were ruled by one single, like, really powerful woman. And she combined like advanced technology and tightly organized like social systems and was able to concentrate this power, right? Because at this time in Ummite civilization, they were technologically and scientifically sophisticated, but they weren't really prepared for ethical and institutional failures like this right here.
Okay.
They're
This is so detailed.
So this kind of caused some social drama, this bad
Of course.
here, but it would trigger a broad and like unified resistance, right? The population began to question both the leader and the political framework that had made this such a dominant position, right?
What was the dominant position?
How much dominance she had.
Oh,
Like
I see.
they created this ability and position that she had now.
I see.
And then your next Lab Libs is in this one, and it is a way for a government to rule. You said a dictatorship.
Yeah.
That's close enough. So
I thought so when you were describing it. I was like, I guess I got one right.
Yeah, I got this one. After the collapse of this authoritarian rule, which is what I went with,
Right.
they deliberately dismantled the centralized systems that they had that supported it. So they tried a new form of governance. They have a new social order, emphasizes openness, distributed the authority, selected leadership based on demonstrating competence rather than personal influence.
Wow, imagine that. Based on competence.
Right? Okay. So they made some choices that made them more collectively governed and everything, and put in a bunch of safeguards to make sure that nobody could. You're looking at me so funny.
I don't understand what we're talking about right now.
I know, it's so good.
Oh my God. I'm so like in the back of my mind, I'm trying to figure out the inner layer of this story. What is this?
Yeah. So they started using like a more direct democracy type thing. It seemed to me kind of like a direct ballot measure. So,
Okay, you're bringing your own political analysis into this.
sure am.
All right. So
Okay.
this is all still being described in these
the
letters
letters.
being sent to people in the 1960s.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's all over Europe, Spain, France.
Yeah, I think there was some like in Germany.
Germany,
there was,
right.
There was some other places, but
Okay.
so there's two lab libs in this sentence here. I gave you a mode of transportation and a shape. You said a train and a triangle.
Okay.
I'm gonna describe their Ummite's method of transportation. Do you think
God,
it is
here we
going to
go.
be a triangle-shaped train?
Maybe circular.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a train. Maybe not.
The Ummite aircraft
Okay.
presented as ovoid
Cool.
and was slightly flattened.
So a UFO. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Optimized for interstellar travel.
Of course.
It was aerodynamic, and it could adapt to the conditions of outer space, right?
Any starship has to.
Yeah. There's sketches of this as well.
Of course there is.
Uh-huh.
Schematics.
And so here, I want to show you one real quick. I want to show you that.
I can't decide if I'm ready for it. Oh. That's a lot of numbers.
And it's pretty detailed, right? I mean, it's in Ummite language, so you're not going to understand it, but...
But their numbers are the same as ours.
Right. I think maybe they are. I didn't study up on the language. Admittedly, I
Sure.
didn't study the language.
Okay.
It wasn't on my Babbel.
Okay. Yeah, it is like somewhat detailed of a diagram there, I
It's pretty
suppose.
detailed, right? Like
Yeah.
for an anonymous letter.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. The propulsion system of this design, though, was kind of incredible because it was based on magnetohydrodynamics.
Uh-huh.
And that is a technology that uses magnetic fields and conductive fluids to generate thrust.
Oh yeah, I totally know what that means.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that was like a thing. That's just all was revealed in these letters. These technologies that, its advantages. The MHD propulsion, it was totally silent, if you can believe that.
Wow.
It had exceptional maneuverability.
I mean, I feel like I can believe anything at this point. If I'm believing all of this.
And the next one is your Lab Libs. And I asked you a trait you might look for in a car. You said good gas mileage.
Yeah.
What do you think the Ummite's transport was?
What they're looking for?
It was environmentally friendly.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Mm-hmm. So they got good gas mileage.
And it was good to the environment, right?
Yeah.
Even a French physicist, Jean-Pierre Petit, even became convinced that these letters had genuine advanced physics in them, right?
Wow. So these letters are really convincing people now, like scientists and stuff.
Yeah, he developed his own cosmological model. It's called the Janus theory. And it was partly inspired by these writings, actually.
Wow.
The letters also talked about nanotechnology, capable of assembling objects molecule by molecule, adaptive architecture that could repair itself.
That's some really futuristic stuff.
Yeah, seriously, for this time.
Yeah.
There really is. So these letters were crazy. They were imaginative and super consistent and stuff too. And it showed this whole world and culture and scientific framework. So it spread like wildfire through the UFO circles in Europe over there. So people copied them, shared them, debated them, you know.
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, I'm not surprised that it got a lot of attention.
That it took off like that.
That's a really big thing for a bunch of people across countries to be receiving all these same
Like
consistent
super
letters.
detailed letters. Yeah. Okay, so then came the sighting.
The sighting.
On June 1st, 1967, in San Jose de Valdejeras near Madrid, witnesses reported a disc-shaped craft hovering slightly in the sky.
It's them.
It bore the Ummo symbol,
Whoa.
which was 3 vertical lines joined by a horizontal bar with the outer lines curved outward. Would you like to see it?
Okay.
That's what it looks like.
Right.
It's like a double H with bendy things.
Okay.
So that is actually the alchemical and astrological glyph for the planet Uranus. So photographs were taken, and this sighting had already been predicted by the letters. So good to go, right? So for the believers, you know, this has kind of brought the whole thing together here.
And there's good pictures of this really happening?
There's pictures. Yeah. But even with that, the cracks were forming. Some people noticed the photos looked staged.
I see.
The landing traces seemed suspicious. The timing felt too perfect. But the myth did continue to grow. And your next Lab Libs is a decade in the late 1900s. You said 1980s.
Yeah.
That's incorrect. But it's by the 1970s.
Okay.
The Ummo affair had become one of the most talked about UFO cases in Europe.
Well, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. It inspired books, documentaries, and even like small cults. It was like the Daughters of Ummo in Bolivia.
Oh, gosh.
They treated the letters like sacred texts.
Yeah.
Scientists debated the physics. Ufologists argued endlessly about the authenticity, obviously. And next Lab Lib, a year in the 1990s. You said 1992.
Yes.
Very
the
close.
year I was born.
Yeah, I know. Very close. A year after you were born, everything changed. In 1993.
Okay.
A Spanish engineer and psychologist named Jose Luis Jordan Pena stepped forward and confessed. Your next Lab Libs is in this
He
one.
confessed to the letters?
Yeah. So a category of experiment was the category, and you said a clinical trial.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
That's not going to be that, is it?
No.
He said that he had created the entire Ummo affair as a long-term psychological experiment.
Yeah, I was thinking sociological.
Yeah. According to him, he wanted to study gullibility and what he called systematical paranoia.
Well,
Yeah. He claimed that the typed letters, the stage sightings, and all of that would make this myth take off, right?
well, I guess he was right.
Right. He said he regretted it. And that the experiment also spiraled out of control.
Well, yeah.
How is that?
What
What
do
do
you think
mean?
was gonna
kept
happen?
Spiraling out of control, writing more letters.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just one letter that
God.
spiraled out of control. It's thousands of letters.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, he was trying to study gullibility. That's wild.
So investigators did find evidence supporting his confession. They said they had like typewriter matches. They could tell that the photos were fabricated. And then there was a witness who confirmed like that he was involved. He had a few people helping him because a lot of these letters got like postmarked from other countries and stuff.
Wow, he had like a whole system.
Yeah.
That's impressive that he really committed to it like that.
Yeah. But not everybody believed his confession, of course.
Of course. The conspiracy theorists are always going to
say,
conspiracy theory.
He had to say it under duress
Of
from the
course.
Ummites or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it kind of refuses to die, but the sheer volume of the letters, the sophistication, the early references to a lot of like technology and science that we had no idea about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty weird.
And then
So where was he pulling that from then? He was just
I don't know, like what
thinking about science fiction or something?
I don't know. I don't know where he got all of this.
Those ideas.
Even a whole language, Megan. All
You're right.
these letters, like
I forgot about the whole language.
a whole governance system and the culture and history.
Oh,
and
God. I feel like maybe he almost started to convince himself it was real.
maybe.
Like he was.
That's what he meant by
Part of the
spiraled out of
experiment the
control
whole
in his own
time.
mind, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like 20 years, something like that
What the
this was
hell?
going on. Yeah.
That's too long. I'm all for committing to the bit,
right.
but there's a point where the bit becomes delusion.
So today the Ummo affair sits in a strange space between hoax and myth or whatever. And the official explanation is that it was all fabricated by one man. But, people...
Of course, that's what the government's going to tell us.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And, it just continues to, fascinate people.
That's crazy that I have been for so long. And
I know.
and you've never heard of that.
So detailed, right?
And I've never heard of this.
Yeah. So that shows how powerful one narrative can be when it taps into our curiosity and our imagination and all of that.
Question. When that was happening, was it still mainly conspiracy theorists who were believing in it? Or was it regular people who've never believed in conspiracy theories?
I got the impression that
Was it
kind of
widespread?
turned some people. Yeah, I don't think it was super widespread. Everybody believed it. But it did sound like
so
it
weird.
was a little, it spread. It was out there. So now I'm going to talk about a few political things. Not in a bad way. These are just my thoughts. So in 1965, around when these letters started, Spain was under a dictatorship of Francisco Franco.
Okay.
And so he was centralized power, and political opposition was limited, civil liberties were restricted, and dissent was controlled.
That doesn't sound familiar
So-
or anything. So your typical authoritarianism.
Right. But that made me think when I read that part, was this someone's way of kind of weirdly and way too way too over the top.
Yeah.
Some of the government stuff, I could see that it might have stemmed from where their government was at this time in Spain. You know what I mean? Since they created that whole fake dictator and everything.
I guess you pull from what you know when you write fiction.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I want to say a few more thoughts of mine on Ummo as a theoretical concept.
Okay.
In my humble opinion, there are a few things that Earth could learn from this fictional planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what?
One of the biggest lessons in the Ummite story is that their worst historical period did not happen because one person was uniquely evil, but because their system made it easy for a single individual to accumulate too much power. Mm-hmm. In their later society, authority is deliberately split across multiple institutions. No single leader controls critical systems all on their own.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a really good, relevant lesson for modern governments and corporations and social media platforms and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with that.
Good intentions are not enough. Design matters.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. From a climate perspective, the Ummo ideas point to treating climate action as a high-impact, long-term, and ethical mandatory decision. Policy should be reviewed through scientific, social, and ethical panels planned across generations rather than one election cycle, and designed to prevent harm before it becomes irreversible, showing that the climate change is exactly the kind of problem that requires collective decision-making, long-term thinking, and built-in responsibility.
That's so long-winded.
Yep. The Ummo letters also offer some other lessons that, like, major decisions affecting society should undergo review throughout, by technical, social, and ethical experts, preventing small groups from rushing projects like AI or climate policy or infrastructure.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. Technology must be paired with ethics.
Yeah.
Ensuring
and not rushing those decisions.
Right. Yeah. Review and exactly.
Yeah.
And that leadership should be based on competence and emotional stability and proven cooperative skills rather than just popularity or
Now
status.
you're asking too much.
I know.
You've crossed the line.
Yep.
Debbie.
Planning should prioritize long-term and social and environmental stability over short-term gains.
No. You're asking too much.
So, that is my thoughts on Ummo and the things that we could take away from it. And also, it's really wild.
Yeah.
Okay, I even lost myself doing research on this one.
You're like, is it real?
What am I even reading right now? Am I reading?
Oh my God.
Like how you asked me in the beginning, was there really a boat? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Some of the stuff I read, I know was true, but a lot of it was fiction. So I'm like, I don't know if that's part's true or not, but I kept getting lost in it going, am I reading the truth right now? Or is this, again, what the Ummites said?
Right. But it is like, okay, all of that craziness and just the fact that this is totally insane what this person did to do all this. It's, I hear you on saying, like, there's a lot that we can learn from this, like, planet, quote unquote, species. It's just this one guy wrote all of this.
Right.
And, like, thought through all of this really intense political analysis. In
And
such a,
and physics.
Yeah.
And sketches of,
Why? How?
I don't know. And how did you have time for this?
That's a lot of content to create there.
It is. That's a pretty large content creator right there.
Wow.
So I didn't think that you'd probably ever heard of this.
Not at all.
I randomly heard it.
Yeah, where did you even hear about this?
It was on some sort of podcast or another that I couldn't even find. Like, this is Ummo, okay? Because I knew this story. And I knew that I had heard it somewhere. But when I finally was like, I'm going to look that up again and maybe do that as an episode, I couldn't even find what podcast or video or whatever it was, like, where I originally heard it. And there's not a lot.
Freaky.
There's not a lot. There's very few articles, like, written about it. There's a lot of Ummo letters that you can read, but that's not helpful when you're trying to find facts. So, I thought you'd enjoy that.
Okay, give me
more
percentage 1 to 100 on how likely you think there's Ummos.
1 to 100.
Yeah, like you're 100% sure they exist, or you're like 0% they definitely don't exist.
Ummos, or just like any type of like
No, like it was this guy really?
from Umite or from Ummo? An Umite?
Do they exist? Was he speaking of some kind of real
I think that
alien planet?
no, he was not speaking.
So you're like 0%. There's 0%.
I'm 0 on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, life on on other planets and stuff, if you ask me that question, it's different.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
I think there's more than likely life on other planets.
Yeah.
Way.
Well, how
more
could we
than
ever know? Like, it's too much. But yeah, the Umites, I think, are not. And you know what? He needed to do a better job with that language.
Yeah.
Look at these words. This is what I was pronouncing.
Oh no.
What
that doesn't
is
mean
that?
anything.
No, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Well, I took you to Ummo.
I fear that my rabbit hole is just as absurd. But it is.
Hit me with it.
Yeah, okay. Well, so this rabbit hole is brought to you because my aunt has got me hooked on this show on Netflix.
Uh-oh.
I told her that I like fantasy and, things with like magic and different kinds of worlds like that. Mm-hmm. And she was so excited by that and said, I have to watch this show. It'll be exactly what I like with fantasy and magic and all that. And she's hooked on it and she's seen it multiple times. She's watched it and all this stuff. And so I said, okay, fine. Like I'll watch an episode of it. And she puts it on and I'm surprised that it's like a Korean drama.
Oh.
Have you seen those shows on Netflix that are like Korean drama shows of different types?
I haven't watched any of the Korean ones, but I have seen them on there. But I watch a lot of like Spain, coincidentally enough, like Spain, Spanish shows like that where they're dubbed on every. It's dubbed, I imagine, right? The Korean.
Yeah, I was just about to say that too. She had said she watched it multiple times and we put it on, and I was like, I hope we're not watching this in English, like that we're going to watch it in Korean. And she was like, oh, I've always just watched it in English. And she made me start watching it in English, and I only lasted like 5 minutes. And I was like, I cannot do this. We need to watch it in Korean with subtitles because
Are you serious?
I have to hear their original voices.
Ah, that's awful. I'm sorry for her that you made her do that.
She appreciated that she could hear their voices too.
Hate that.
I have lost a tiny bit of respect for you because I'm so subs over dubs. Always, always, always. I want to hear it in the original language. Always.
But what I can get some extra credit for is that I always have closed captioning on my TV.
Well, then why put it in English?
The reason
Listen to their voices in their original language. You don't get any of their emotion or acting ability through their voice when you listen to it dubbed.
I like to have closed captioning on is if I don't like hear a word very well, my brain automatically goes, okay, like glance down, look at the like what that person just said. You didn't hear that word correctly. And also because I like to know words, so I like to be able to kind of look at it, see how it's spelled, or if it's like a word I'd never heard of, I like to kind of learn words from it.
Well, we can leave aside the subs versus dubs debate because that is just a whole nother can of worms. But regardless, I do listen to everything in their original language with subtitles.
Got it.
So I made her change it. Was my point. I was like, nope, we have to listen to it in Korean. But I did watch the first episode, and then I came home and I got super hooked on it, and I can't stop watching it. And it's called Alchemy of Souls. It's kind of dumb, but kind of good. It's very dramatic and like fantastical. And it's about this world where some people have this magical skill that is forbidden, but they can switch souls with another person. So they can switch bodies. But they eventually, most of them that do this, like turn into monsters and start killing everybody.
Oh, Oh, great. All right.
And there's these like mages that are supposed to be protecting against this and all this stuff. And it's very complex, like nearly Game of Thrones style family politics involved in all of this, and very complex magic systems and pretty well thought out. At first I was like, oh, this is stupid. But it's not actually. It's like pretty well thought out, and the plot surprises me sometimes. And I'm like, wow, the acting is good, even though it's absurd and over the top. Like, I care about the characters, though, you know. And I was so not expecting it, but I guess K-dramas, just like K-pop, is real popular. Like Korean dramas and television shows are really popular too. And one thing that they're popular for is having these over the top, crazy, dramatic storylines and premises. And so I just started doing some research on why these are so popular, because I started getting more recommendations for them as well on Netflix, you know. So now I've got all these recommendations for different K-dramas, and I'm like, what is happening right now? But yeah, I found that there's a few different reasons why they're so unique and popular, and frankly addictive. Like, I truly cannot stop watching it. Also, the episodes are long, like an hour and 15 or an hour and 20 minutes per episode.
Do you like that?
God, I just find myself completely ignoring where one episode ends and the next begins. You know, like, I just watch however much I have time for, because I don't have time to sit there and watch 2 hours or like an hour and 20 minutes, you know, or whatever. Every single time. It's like a whole movie. I'm
curious if you liked that.
It is nice that there's a lot of content, because I'm so annoyed at these 8-episode seasons for everything now.
40-minute shows, 8 episodes.
Yes, what is that? But anyways, I found that TV production in Korea is really different and has a lot of different focuses than American TV. They do pride themselves on having well thought out plots and narratives, not like sitcoms and telenovelas in the US. It is more like they have a reputation for having good plot lines, or at least like interesting, well thought out. Even though they're absurd, they're well thought out somehow. And they're different from each other, which I didn't think of either. Even though they all like have some elements in common, there's all different kinds of genres. Some are fantasies, but they mix genres too, so it's not just a fantasy. It's like romance or detective style, or you know, murder mystery, but also comedy. Like, they're genre bending lots of times. Right. That makes them unique and memorable and stuff. And that they have this big focus on set design and costume design in particular, and that makes them these like beautiful scenes to watch, regardless of the genre and stuff. And people like that, you know, and they show all these, like, they're also known for showing really appetizing selections of food throughout the episodes that you're like tantalized by how good this food looks. It's like anime almost, but live action. Even the acting is over the top and like kind of silly and whimsical sometimes. They're like facial expressions. Right. It's like so entertaining, completely different type of television. I've really never watched any, and it's so fun. And
well, Squid Games was Korean.
Yes, right? Exactly. Yeah.
They were so over the top, but I also watched that one dubbed. So,
oh no! See, I watched that in Korean.
Yeah, whatever.
So yeah, they become
much better than me, but you also don't know Ummo, do you?
No, you're right. Exactly. I didn't know that language, and you actually learned that entire language for this episode, which is so dedicated.
That is interesting about like the costumes and stuff though. That's pretty cool.
And I did notice that in the set, not only do they have absolutely beautiful costumes, they use the costume to tell part of the plot. Like when something crazy happened to one of the characters, they made a big point to keep her in her destroyed outfit for the rest of that episode. And then the next episode, not only did she like emerge from this weird plot line, she had a noticeably upgraded and totally different outfit now.
Oh,
you know,
interesting.
and yeah, they like show
Use it.
it's like part of the character development is their outfits and what they represent. Like in this, the like leaders of the families, each of their children are each like associated with a season in society. They're known as like the 4 seasons from these 4 families.
Okay.
And one of them is the spring, and one of them is winter, and one of them is like the fall.
And one's the summer.
Yeah, and their costumes
Kind of jive.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
So it's become this big like global brand of Korean dramas, and that's what people have come to expect from them. And the actors are really well known and have super loyal fan bases, just like K-pop musicians.
Okay.
And it was funny when I was seeing some of them. I was like, oh my god, that's I don't know their names.
Yeah.
I'm not good at remembering all of their names, but
They're all on like, they appear on different shows. Like,
I'm like, oh my god, that's that character.
And that's how the British ones are.
Oh really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I guess that's how
crossover.
that's how American shows are too, but it's just different to see a whole different crew of famous actors from another country.
Yeah.
But okay, so you want to hear some of the craziest plot storyline ones that I could find?
Sure.
Okay. So the one I'm watching is that Alchemy of Souls, and there's a whole souls body switching like nonsense going on.
Right.
There's several about people falling in love with different kinds of AIs and robots.
Okay.
But then there's one that kind of turns that on its head, and there's someone who doesn't want to fall in love with a human. He wants to fall in love with a robot, and so his assistant has a human girl pretend that she's a robot for him to fall in love with.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is wild.
That one's called I'm Not a Robot.
Well, isn't there a show called I Am Robot, or a movie?
Yeah. iRobot.
iRobot.
Yeah, with Will Smith. That old Will Smith movie.
Yeah, I
that's a
gotcha.
great movie. Oh, there's another one where this man has unresolved emotional trauma, and so he grows knives from his body whenever he gets angry. It's called Blade Man.
Oh.
And
Wow, that's quite the plot there.
lots of them are like some of them are actually really good, and people are like, wow, the reviews are like, wow, that was really better than expected. But other ones are just so memorable, and they really commit to the absurdity that they get like this weird cult following, even though they're not actually good.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And oh my god, this is my favorite one. Okay. It's called Chicken Nugget.
Okay.
And the plot line is that this woman steps into a mysterious machine that is supposed to help her solve some problem in her life. I don't remember.
Okay.
But instead of doing whatever she thinks it's going to do, it turns her into a giant chicken nugget.
How? What?
Like she is a humanoid body, but she is a chicken nugget.
No. No.
But apparently it's so funny and silly and good because they just lean completely into that. Like they just take that.
The chicken nugget persona.
Yeah, they take that idea of like, what if your closest friend just turned into a chicken nugget? What do you do now?
Oh my god.
And they just take that to such a level that is such dedication in this show.
Oh my god.
There's so many like that. Oh, there's this one that it's called A Good Day to Be a Dog. And it's about a high school teacher, but she has this curse on her family that whenever she kisses someone, she turns into a dog.
Okay.
And then she can only turn back into a human if the same person gives her a kiss as a dog.
As a dog?
And so she accidentally kisses her coworker who has a phobia of dogs.
Okay.
Just to figure out how to get back to being a human and convince this person with dog phobia to kiss a dog.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. These are wild.
But it's apparently really good.
But this is wild.
Like, people love that one.
The chicken nugget.
I know the chicken nugget one is crazy.
I can't do that.
But, and some of them are just like, wow, too. One's about a woman who's obsessed with potatoes. She's a potato researcher.
Okay.
And somebody new takes over the firm and is like unpleased with how obsessed she is with potatoes.
The potato farm?
I'm just telling you why. Like the research firm, I guess, where she's doing potato research. Like, and then just a couple more. There's one that is about a woman who's a veterinarian and she becomes a psychic. Suddenly she gets psychic powers.
Okay.
But guess what part of the body she has to touch someone in order to get the psychic vision about them?
Her nose.
No, she has to touch someone else in order to get a vision about them. Where does she have to touch
Someone
them?
else that she has to touch them on their body
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yes.
Their earlobe.
Nope.
What?
Their butt.
Oh my god.
It's called Behind Your Touch.
Oh my gosh.
I love the name so much.
Insane.
There's one about a girl who sees smells.
Oh.
It's called The Girl Who Sees Smells.
Okay.
And she uses that to fight
Pretty
crime.
straightforward.
She uses that to solve mysteries and fight crime.
All right.
And there's one that called Meow the Secret Boy. And a girl brings home a cat and he just secretly turns into a boy to be her boyfriend.
Oh.
But she doesn't know that that's the cat. And he's pretending that he's just a normal boy and figuring out how to be a human, but he's really a cat.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Mm-hmm. These are absurd.
Mm-hmm. There's one, I didn't quite understand this one, but as far as I can understand, it is about cats. Mm-hmm. 3 cats who are cats, and they run a bar.
Uh-huh.
And they're not humanoid, but they are cats. But they are played by human actors in cat ears. But the characters are cats. Not humanoid cats. They're just cats.
Okay. Are they running a cat bar?
No. It's a bar.
It's
the
cats.
patrons are humans.
The cats.
The cats run the bar, but they're played by human actors in cat ears.
Right. And then their customers are humans.
Right.
Of course. I mean, obviously. Obviously. Wow.
I want to know what you would do if you were in this last one, in this
Okay,
situation.
right.
It's called Oh My Ghost. And, okay, so here, like, pretend you are the main character, all right?
Okay.
You're an assistant chef.
Okay.
You're very shy. Mm-hmm. You can see ghosts.
Okay.
One day, you get possessed by, like, a lusty, slutty, loud, confident ghost who's determined to lose her virginity
Oh.
to your boss.
Oh.
And she is possessing you. And you keep switching between, like, who is in charge of your body here.
Oh.
What would you do?
Bang my boss.
Yeah.
That's relatively straightforward.
But yeah, everybody on that one said that the actress that plays that character, she, like, switches between the 2 characters, and she's so believable
being
and
too
really
bold.
good at the switch. Like, her acting skills are, like,
That's
so good to be 2
true.
characters like that.
That's true. She's playing 2 characters at the exact same time.
So yeah, now I have to watch like 10 more K-dramas because I have to see the chicken nugget one. I simply must. And I'm going to go back to my aunt and tell her she has to watch the chicken nugget one. Yeah, I mean, she started this whole thing.
That's true.
So
That's true.
we're either going to love it or we're going to suffer through it together because...
Well, I will enjoy hearing about all the ones that you watch, for sure.
Okay, listeners, tell me which K-drama I should watch next when I'm done with Alchemy of Souls. Give me a suggestion here.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back in a couple weeks.
Yes, we will.
You're telling me a story.
Maybe it'll be less absurd than this week's episode.
These were both really silly.
I love how sometimes we're just on the same
We're just
wavelength.
on it, right? Yeah.
Like, we both said this will be the silliest one ever.
Yeah, I did. In my mind, I was like, this is going to be the craziest one
I
I've
felt
done.
inspired to do this from you telling us about Naked and Afraid.
Oh, yeah, true.
I was like, if Debbie can tell us all about Naked and Afraid, I'm going to tell you about the K-dramas.
Well, yeah, I
Anyways.
mean, arguably, probably, I don't know. They're probably both those weird.
We'll always find absurdity in this crazy mixed up world.
That's what we're here for.
Yep.
That's what we enjoy. That's why we do this. It's fun.
Yep. Well,
You'll tell me a story. I'll get a couple of them right. And
and the listeners can play along as always.
yeah. So look in the show notes. You'll get my resources and you will play along with the Lab Libs on the next episode. All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Like and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.